God damn it, Jeff. Name one thing that you've done that says you're trying to figure out the puzzle pieces.
Yeah. I'm nervous on the surface, I look fine. My brain feels heavy, my traumatized mind. And I'm so tired, I can't feel my eyes. Whoa, whoa. I'm petty, but I know how to lie. I feel feelings that I can't describe. I'm not breathing, but I'm still alive. Whoa, whoa. But I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. Still have hope. So many days have passed. I wait around for things to change, but change has not come fast. I'm asking all the questions, but then I question them. Like, what's the point of living, existing when you can't see your God in flesh? I'm looking for the answers, they say to pray instead. I think I'll find them one day, but with a helping hand. I know that it's not easy, but I believe I will. Yeah, I'll get over all my fears and really conquer everything. I think I'll be alright, 'cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up yet. I feel that it's my time, so I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. So I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got. I'ma give it everything. I'ma give it everything I got.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective, in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
And here we go.
Welcome to the Freak Show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? I hope everybody had a very Merry Christmas. Happy Friday. I'm your host, Birdie. We're going to be talking about the Idaho 4 case. If this is your first time tuning in, I go live every weeknight at 7 p.m. Central. And this is a contrarian thinking live stream. So what does that mean? We think past the headlines. We question the narrative. We like to think what if. We like to think out loud because, believe it or not, we still have the freedom to do that. And the chat is always super involved. You'll see a lot of comments popping up on the screen. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about the earliest days of this case. And full transparency, it kind of bothers me that those early days are treated like an embarrassment to be rushed past, instead of being looked at as like some of the most important evidence we have. The timelines seem to just get cleaner the further that we move away from the event. The contradictions disappear instead of being resolved. And certainty has increased while transparency has decreased and become damn near invisible. The reason why, it's very simple. This is not about solving anything. This is about stabilizing. Once the narrative is as Loctite as it is in this case, It just becomes about keeping that infrastructure in place. So I have a ton of things that I found that I screenshotted over the last few days. I was able to get a VPN and get onto a Russian, I think it's from Russia. It's like Yandex. And they don't scrub anything from those servers. So it's much different than Google. And man, did I find a lot of articles that we never were able to find, a lot of photos that I never knew existed, and so many chat, 4chan, Reddit type threads that are pretty mind blowing. So I have a bunch of them. I put some really good ones in there tonight. I am saving a few just in case I need to sprinkle them in over the weekend. We have the top 25 hive mind finds of 2025 coming up. That'll be on what day did I say? The 30th. So New Year's Eve we'll do that, or on the 29th. I got to lock that down. But I also found a video. I'm not sure if people have seen it. I've never seen it. I have a video that is a couple seconds long of somebody walking in front of King Road the night that it was taped off. So I'll leave it at that. It's pretty crazy. So nonetheless, I'm going to say what's up to everybody. Got Growth Renewal, Hot Damn It, Hearts from Julie, Curious Cat, good to see you, my Tootsie Roll. Constance Bailey says, it's huge. Nin 1,142,000, 2,000, we'll say that. Gabby Girl, Dina Lindy, Gabby Girl, Thumper Rabbit Hole, Christine Hurd, Gina Louise, Luna Bliss, shout out to my mod, Marcus Martin, Gramila, Nash Ash, C, Caleb, Tinfoil Hat, Claire, Brenda Fry, Texas Teacher, UK Care, Mississippi Woman, MISSIS, SSI, PPI, UFO Dog, what's going on? Birdie and the Hizzy for Shizzy, that was an easy one. Squirrel Nest, Constance Bailey, good to see you. Christine Hurd, JP. That's how I would say that. Ava Caldaway, Gigi, Miss Lisa B. Thank you so much for the super chat. Nash Ash C. I appreciate that. Happy you made it live as well. Any super chat over $4.99 will pop up right here, and I will address it immediately. Same thing if you subscribe. We will welcome you to the Hive. So if this is anybody's first live, welcome. Happy to have you here. Cheryl Mims, Michelle, Miss Lisa B, Crisis, Jennifer, Art Seagal, Cat, Red Riding Hood, Lisa Waski, Miss Lisa B's tuning in from England, Jackie Speaks, D-Dog Wifey, Bourbon Santa, what's Gucci, my Louie? It's awesome to see some familiar faces in here every night. Sleuther Dare, Chicken Fingers, Mrs. Birdie, Long Gone 4741, Grandma Grizz, what's up, Lucy, Blue Devil, Christine Hurd, Spotty Ash, Shauna's tuning in from Massachusetts, Avi, LVNV, Friday Night, Christmas Hive, love it, Susie with an S. Man, it's great to see you all. If you guys have not hit that like button, please do. We got 500 people in here. It'd be awesome to be at 500 likes. We only have 162. That does help push this stream as soon as you go live. If a bunch of people like it, it pushes it out to the algorithm. So I would highly appreciate that, or greatly appreciate that. And all my streams are free. So I will never put the 7 p.m. stream behind a paywall. And I don't see that ever changing. So all that I do ask is that you hit like, you hit subscribe, you check out HiveMindStore.com, and that is the best way to support the stream. Now, I'm pretty excited to show everybody what I found this evening. And so I'm not going to take too much longer. I'm going to jump right into it. And I got to tell you, I don't know how I've never seen this. Nancy Grace releases a full photo of her table setup right in front of King Road. Now, I am aware that Nancy Grace has covered this case. However, the next slide, I have never seen. It's not available on anything that I've ever Googled. it's hard to find. You can find the people or the person that posted it, very credible, over 1 million followers on Instagram, investigative journalist, independent media type person posted it. And I can tell you that Nancy Grace really got put on blast for this. Does anybody remember the articles back when this was happening about 2 years ago? Okay, so Monique remembers it. Caleb says Nancy disgrace. Okay. Okay, so some people remember it. If Nancy Grace, so Kara Garrison said, if Nancy Grace wasn't on TV, she'd be an ambulance chasing attorney. That is so oddly accurate. That is amazing. So, nonetheless, you guys get my point. She's out there. She's in front of 1122 King Road. She's doing a special. She's got her table set up. Her production crew releases this photo. You can see they got the lighting on the house. They're making it look all investigative. And that's one of the things that drives me nuts is Nancy Grace is on a big talking set. She's just going to read a teleprompter. She's got all of her notes. Who knows how investigative it is? To me, that's what people would say is a grift. That's grifting. That's whatever that word means. So whenever people say that about you and I, probably not most of you if you're not putting out content, but whenever I hear that, I'm like, grift. No. See, I'm trying to destroy the narrative that people like Nancy Disgrace have cemented on so many stories in this country. That's what I can't stand. I can't stand the narrative and the story being more important than the facts or the truth or true investigative journalism. I've said in the past, real journalists don't really exist anymore because they probably killed all of them. They've all been Epsteined or they're on the Clinton body count list. God only knows. But true investigative journalism is extremely rare. And that's why I do believe that the majority of them are independent media. People like myself, people that cover this case, you guys know that type of media. That's where the truth is. We don't need the mainstream news anymore. We all have it in the palm of our hand. We can watch it in real time. We don't need reporting necessarily anymore. Now, I've never seen this next photo. Buckle up because I thought this was effing wild. So this was on a message board and it said, I sense a disturbance in the force. Maybe cashing in is not such a good idea. The King Road neighbors via House in Habit on Instagram posted this and it says, fuck you, Nancy Grace. And it's hung on the King Road house neighbor. I've never seen that ever. That is incredible. But I'd never have seen that. And how does that not end up in the media? How does that not end up in an article? How does that not go all over the place that the King Road neighbors did a Saturday college game day style bed sheet where you would troll the opposing team at a big football game? They did that. They said, nope, we're going to do it for Nancy Grace. Fuck you, Nancy Grace. We're hanging it on the side of our house. And of course, they don't post it. But no, that is from House in Habit on Instagram. Unbelievable. Well, you're true, Vonda. The same reason they didn't post this picture is the same reason MSM did not cover this case. So I thought this was crazy. So this, I don't even know how I stumbled upon this. Okay. So like I said, I'm not sure if everybody has a VPN, but if you do, use this instead of Google a couple times. Okay. Search things like 9/11 or whatever other buzzword typically Google and their AI algorithms will shield you from seeing. But use this. It's free. I think if you use a browser like DuckDuckGo or Brave, you can turn that VPN on depending if you pay for the service. That works. That's how I did it. I'm not sure. Maybe everybody gets it, but I always use a VPN, but it's got images, video, maps, translates, weather, and the results that you get are just mind-blowing and so different than what we see here in the US. Yeah, I agree. VPN should be a standard tool. If you don't use that, I would highly encourage that. It's not even a plug for any sponsors. I don't have any sponsors, but seriously, highly recommend getting one. Yeah, it's YANDEX. Now, again, I'm just searching random stuff. Idaho 2022 crime, Moscow, Idaho crime. I'm trying to not type in the Idaho 4. I'm trying to find other things that might have happened that got covered up. Excuse me, that got covered up in this country that we didn't know. And it's weird because you'll see things on YouTube or Rumble or sites that we all use really often, very often, but you'll not get those results, but they're still on that platform. So this is on Vimeo, Vimeo. You guys have probably seen it. This person has been a member on Vimeo since March of 2013. They have one video. This is all that they have ever posted. And it's pretty insane. It says, I'll take the comments down so you guys can see that. It says, it shows 1122 King Road and the walkway of the Queen Road apartments taken the night of November 13th or early morning hours of November 14th of 2022. Thought that was very interesting phrasing because you would think they would know unless they got this video from somebody. And I will let this play, but it's perplexing because whether it's the 13th or the 14th, you hear some pretty wild shit. And I actually have the video. And the fact that this was just uploaded 4 months ago in August is kind of odd. But here it is. You know what I'll do for everybody? I'll turn this way up. So if you got headphones in, I'm going to turn this way up. So it's repeating a couple times. Listen here. So I can't make out everything that's said, but I wanted to take a couple of minutes here and I didn't put my captions on there because I don't want to influence anybody's hearing, but I hear something right around this part. So you can clearly see the crime scene tape. So it must have been shortly after. However, let me know what you hear when you hear this guy's voice come kind of start to get louder. It's right here. I hear there's a murder right there. I swear, I don't know if you guys hear that shit. Not trying to influence it, but I totally could make out what sounds to at least be the word murder. Oh, she's a murderer. So if I had to guess when this is from, I would say that this is probably the early morning hours of the 14th. So they were found on the 13th. I would guess this is that next night. You see the lights on, you can see the crime scene tape, but there's no shortage of activity going on in that area. Now, I don't know what else they chant here. And you can hear a woman's voice that says, "What'd she say?" at the end, who's ever recording. Yeah, either way, I don't know, but it's very odd. And all their cars are there, the crime scene tape. Like, right? There's crime scene tape. But you're right. I don't see. Do you guys see a cop car in the driveway? Oh, they cut it out. Nonetheless, I've never seen the video. I'm not claiming that to be something that it's not. That's the first time that I've ever seen that. And I thought it was interesting and I thought it was worth sharing. Like I said, I found that on Vimeo. It only had like 4 or 5 views. So nobody's really watched it. And like I said, first time I've seen it. Now, this, most people have probably at least known about or heard that the landlord is creepy. I found this post on X or Twitter, whatever the hell it was back in 2022. And this dude had a picture of his family, and I think he had his last name, so I blurred that out. But it says, "This is wild. The landlord already listed the Moscow house for rent." In the description, it talks about how safe Moscow is. And what's wild is when I went to go click that, the post no longer exists even on the other server, but the tweet does. So if you ever do use Yandex, or if you give that search engine a try, just search what you find when you type in whatever topic, compare it to Google, and then also try it where you use X and you look for like reverse image searches, what all pops up. It's pretty crazy. And it's just ironic that they said in the description, it talks about how safe Moscow is. Yep, looks safe to me. Psych. Now, okay, guys, when I tell you that pretty much everything you're about to see tonight, I've not seen. I'm not claiming that this is new. I have spent countless hours using Google and using Yandex. It was like a whole new world. And I found so many things that are crazy where the links actually work. They actually work. And the posts are still up. So this comes from a chat board. It says Koberger's listed on merit pages as being a graduate of Northampton Community College class of 2018 and from Albertsville, Pennsylvania. That website says that he made the dean's list at Northampton, where he was studying, quote, liberal arts psychology, according to meritpages.com. Well, this is added by Brian. If you look down at the bottom when that thing goes off, look at the right side, look at the bottom, added by Brian. Okay. Brian Koberger made the Northampton Community College Dean's List. Goes through it, lists the articles. I didn't know this, but in the activities, Brian Koberger was apparently a part of Psi Beta and are encouraged to attend and help orchestrate events which aim towards spreading awareness of issues which pertain to psychology. Psi Beta gives students of two-year community colleges an opportunity to expand their love for psychology through being a part of an organization geared towards accomplishing just that. An important aspect of my experience in Psi Beta involved raising awareness of hidden disabilities, which are not common yet often misunderstood. The Hidden People Research Project, the what? The Hidden People Research Project is an example of what Psi Beta at NCC Monroe was geared towards starting. Students were educated about hidden disabilities, and this information was then applied by students in order to foster a reduction of harm on campus through increased awareness. Are you kidding me? What are the odds that Brian Koberger is studying or involved with a group that has disabilities to raise awareness of harm on campus, and then his papers are about 95% of cases never go to trial? It's, to me, that's just not a coincidence. So this information was then applied by students in order to foster a reduction of harm on campus through increased awareness. The application involved creating scripts for public service announcements on campus created by students involved in the Hidden People Research Project. Psi Beta also encouraged me to become a peer supporter, which involved taking a mental health first aid training course. The mental health first aid training course trains students to effectively communicate with the distressed, as well as utilize community resources. Peer supporters at NCC Monroe are compassionate individuals who are present to listen to any individual who feels they must be heard and can be identified by the green button they wear on their clothing. Added by Brian, Northampton Community College. Yeah, somebody said Psi Beta, like PSYOP. That's funny. That's funny, Marcus. But, I know he has the disability, but it's very interesting how a lot of the complaints that we heard were about being insensitive on campus. It's just weird that it's the opposite at WSU. It's very weird. Let me look at some of the comments because I had to stare at that and read, so I didn't see what came in. A couple people were saying the PSYOP. It's only 1.5. Is that 1.5 miles or 1.5 hours away from the FBI, Philly FBI office? I'm surprised I don't know that off the top of my head. How many fake people are out here? Yeah. Yeah, you should, Ghost. Do it. Ghost says, I know 2 professors at Northampton CC. I'm going to do some digging. Absolutely. Oh, I forgot to add a couple of things to this slideshow. So let me do that really quick. Just because I don't want to forget. Because it's relevant. Let me take this down. Yeah, I believe that it was crime scene tape, Sherlock. All right, give me 2 seconds. I'm just pasting it now. Because I got a pretty crazy DM on TikTok today. And it's not going to look pretty when I share it, but you guys will get the point. this person that sent me this, they tune into the Hive. But this is just a weird ass coincidence. All right. So again, I apologize for the lack of the visual appeal here, but you guys will get the point because I still think it's nuts. So somebody on TikTok sent me this message and said, "You got to see this, bro. BK is 100% not at that prison. They were handing out cookies from a charity. I emailed them and I asked if Brian Koberger was on their roster. The lady from St. Vincent at DePaul said no, there was no Brian Koberger on the roster list. Also, this high school was Pleasant Valley. It's the same street that his prison is on. Yeah, right. That prison is state known to hold witnesses and is well known for having feds act like inmates to be in with others they're trying to get intel from. I can promise you he's not there. Also, I have a for sure source, just can't give a name. He works for Idaho State Department of Corrections. His name is Jason A. That's all I can give. And he said no one with that name in the database. You can search state corrections inmates online too. He's not in the search results. Now, it is weird. Brian Koberger graduated from Pleasant Valley High School in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania in 2013. Okay. Pleasant Valley High School. And now his location of the prison is South Pleasant Valley Road. That's trippy. How many coincidences before it's not a coincidence? So that's a great catch by this person. All right, moving on. I just saw somebody actually talk about this. So Pleasant Valley hires principal for intermediate school. The Pleasant Valley School Board approved a new principal for the intermediate school. In an 8-1 vote, Kendall Askins was promoted from assistant principal to principal after the departure of Todd Briner. Director Laura Jecker voted no, but didn't give a reason for her vote. The position pays $95,000. Askins was hired in June 2018 to fill the assistant principal's position at PVI. Askins is a graduate of Queens College with a Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics Education and a master's degree in Mathematics Education. She attended Queens College and Wilkes University graduate programs. Askins previously served as a gifted teacher in East Stroudsburg School District. Other changes to staffing also include a retirement of Robert Siglin, a custodian, a resignation of Bethany Taggart, who's a substitute teacher. You guys get my point. Honor Society, junior advisor, all that stuff. But changes to a current assignment, Gerald Radcliffe from casual security to part-time security, replacing Brian Koberger, and Nancy Heckman, paraprofessional at PVHS to PVIS. So very broad, very random. So Brian Koberger was doing casual security or part-time security at this intermediate school. Nancy Heckman, I'm not sure if she also was replaced. But very, very interesting. Again, I just think these are interesting things that I found. Never really seen the articles. I've heard it talked about, and Luna, I hope this isn't accurate. We have over 1,000 people in here and only 390 likes. Please hit that like button. Let's take 30 seconds. I'll look at the chat, give you guys some time to hit the like button. I'll change out my Zen and we can get going. XOM Ghost says, bro, my cousin teaches at Pleasant Valley. Are you kidding me? Wow. That's wild. That was the FB location of that page. I absolutely think that it's insane. How has the mainstream media not wanted to interview Brian Koberger? How is that possible? JP, that's again so interesting. All of the chat, the last couple of comments, they line up with slides that I have prepared. So hang out here for a couple seconds. Clarify what you mean by that. Philly Special says, sounds exactly like the info that was trying to be given on Outcast a couple of nights ago, but people wanted to attack instead of listen. What info is that? No shit, Sherlock says, and Birdie, it's my understanding that there is still no Social Security death index for the victims, even more than 3 years after. Yeah, a lot of people will say the reason why is because Idaho has some state law where it's like 50 years. It's something crazy where they won't release it. So again, please hit that like button. Don't make me beg. Leave some touch DNA on it. Take 2 seconds, swipe down, leave the chat, press like, come back. We're not going anywhere. All right. So that was an interesting article. It's so weird that JP just said that. And then I've never seen the actual article. This is from the Washington Examiner. Idaho student murders. ID connected to murders found in Koberger home searches. Now, this is what I was talking about. On Google, this article disappears on X, but on Yandex, you can find it. Okay? But ultimately, it really doesn't say anything other than this. An ID connected to the 4 college student murders in Moscow, Idaho was found during a search of Brian Koberger's residences, according to a new report. It's not publicly known to whom the IDs belong to. So what is... Oh, and there's no 50-year law. That's what I feel like people fall back onto, though. I could just be... That was what I felt like I always heard whenever I said that there should be. And they're like, no, it's because there's a law. But so the IDs are not connected to the Idaho 4. This was April 8th, 2023 at 3:36 p.m. I have to say, whenever I see things like this, I don't understand how on April 8th of 2023, anything just random and made up would just be a one-off. It feels weird, right? Like, so they're not going to publicly release to whom the IDs belong to, or if they do say something, they're going to say, oh, nope, it was not related. And it seems like such a pattern, doesn't it? Like, how many things can be said that would either link Brian to the crime and don't, meaning stalking, social media, burner phone, right? All of these things, the Mad Greek, we've heard a lot of them. And then anything that could potentially prove him innocent, those are all discredited too. It forces you to stay with the narrative. So I'm not claiming that any of these are true. These are just articles that I found that I thought were interesting. The White Rabbit 9 says, this is an NPD story plan. LMAO, OMG. Yeah, fake news on the IDs, no relation to Idaho. Well, again, I'm not saying that it couldn't be fake news to make Koberger look more guilty. That's also a very real possibility, right? Yeah. Well, that's what the mainstream media can do. They can print items with no proof of supporting evidence to keep the false narrative alive. Absolutely, Vonda. Absolutely. Now, Sleuther Dare says, what if they found Brent Kopaka's ID? Holy hell. This whole case is fake news, though. Keep that in mind, right? This whole case is fake news. So I'm not arguing on one side or the other. I'm aware. I'm aware it's fake news. I agree with you. I think it's weird that the fake news doesn't want to go talk to Brian. Maybe none of them can look him in the eye because they're like, we've said all this shit about you and we've not verified any of it. Yeah, Luna, I agree. MSM gets away with everything with zero consequences. The ID was Morton Derrickson's. And some people are saying that he does show up on the state Idaho corrections. Could you imagine if it was Dylan and Bethany's? Christ. Yeah, I agree. Washington Examiner, sweet Sinek. Hopefully I said that right. It's not known to be reliable. Totally agree. Now, this again is from another messaging board. And this is from, and if it's a little blurry, the reason why is I had to get an account on that. It's not a sketchy Russian search engine. I just don't want to make an account on it. So I had to screenshot the small image because if I clicked on it to enlarge it, it would have made me make an account. But this person says, it's the Canna Knitter. It says, I've got dirt on Fry, misconduct dirt, covering up multiple murders dirt. It is good. It's really good. I'm talking full hour and a half long conversation, recordings, emails from Fry and ISP. And they had the link. You can buy the Kindle version off Amazon and decide for yourself. It's a tell-all on the underbelly of town corruption running through the Moscow, Idaho Police Department, which is a given back to the 70s, even before Chief Fry. Yeah, I'm not surprised either. That is crazy. It is. Is this anybody's first live tuning in? Let's take a little pulse check here before we go through the rest of them. Because I know we're kind of going quickly and we can go back and talk about it. I got a bunch of other screenshots, but type of one if this is your first actual live here in the Hive. Again, I hope everybody had a great Christmas. Tap the like button. Got Crystal Folco says yes. Love it. Dr. Snowflake's Nightmare, PhD, MD. Hell yeah. Anthony Mater. Astastic 1. Catching the first one live. I feel like I would have remembered that username, so I'm not doubting that this is your first live. Welcome. What's up, Uncle Daddy? First in a while. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Diaper Dandy says, I'm a Hive vet. What's up, Shay Girl 78? Sheila Marie. Thank you, Red Man. Appreciate that. K Wolf's trolling. Sugarfoot, Carol Park. Think twice, says first live after Christmas. The Hive is rad. Absolutely. Yes, welcome. When we say welcome to all the new members, we're just saying members as in you're part of the Hive. I don't have memberships, just to clarify that. I love it. Well, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, again, share this out to your buddies. We do not refund any red pills here. All right. Buckle up. Buckle up. I've been waiting for this one. My mods are on fire with what they send me, and I believe this came from Luna. Again, Luna's been on fire. Luna found in a notable U.S. federal government report on thehill.org, there's all of these tragedies and giant public events. This is pretty wild. So this says mass U.S. shooting tragedies listed in order of occurrence from November 1st, 2022 to October 30th, 2023, with school shootings listed first. You have the University of Virginia. That checks out. The Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. That checks out. You have Vladislav Ribnikar Model Elementary School. I don't know about that one. Michigan State University. That checks out. And then what do you see right there? You see the University of Idaho with Ethan Chapin, Kaylee Goncalves, Xander Kernodle, and Maddie Mogan. And then as you're looking over that, let's not forget about this Chronicles of Olivia interview.
Them, we address them, and then we remove them from hurting other people.
The phone call the Gonzalez family received on November 13th is one they'll never forget.
We were, it was Sunday around
We were watching football.
1-ish, and we were
like
watching
every
football.
family, or a lot of families on Sunday.
And then our son was here. Everybody was home except for she was down at her home
We
in LA.
gather on
And
Sunday.
my niece called me and she was freaking out. And she said, Christy, have you talked to Kaylee? And I said, yesterday, like last night. And she said, something bad happened. And she was just bawling. And I said, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? And she said, I think Kaylee's dead. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she
All
said,
our stomachs just dropped.
she said there was somebody just called me and they live down there. She said there was a party last night and somebody went in and shot the party up and Kaylee was shot. I was like, what? And I just threw my phone. I started screaming. I started telling everybody to call Olivia and to get all of her roommates on the phone. And I started calling Maddie, and Maddie wouldn't answer, and I said, no, this can't be, because Maddie would have called me. If Kaylee was shot last night at a party, Maddie or Jack would have called me. Like, no, and I called Kaylee and went straight to voicemail. I was calling Maddie, I was calling Jack, it was ringing. I turned on the TV, and I saw it said 1122 King Road. Kaylee's car was in the driveway, Maddie's car was in the driveway, but it was saying an unconscious person. And we're saying, okay, maybe this isn't, like, maybe something happened. So Steve starts calling the police. Steven, our son, started calling the hospital, and he started calling the PD and saying, my name is Gonzalez, and we heard that my daughter Kaylee Gonzalez was killed in an accident, and they said, we can't give you any new information, we'll call you back. Well, we just, next thing you know, some more phones started ringing. Our daughters that came running down, 16 and 17 years old, came and said, Mom, somebody just called me and said that Kaylee's dead. And we're like, what? Like, who was it? She's like, I don't know. It's somebody that's they're there, and Kaylee's dead. And we were like, oh my God, like this can't be, and it's just very, very, very dramatic.
These protocols have to be updated.
Yeah.
These protocols of somebody showing up at your door 10 hours later is ridiculous.
Because we had hours of panic before the sheriff
It was
department.
terrible.
It was about 4:30, and
So you guys, they never called you. You guys found this out from family members that were in the area, and you guys didn't get notified. You actually reached out to them, and you guys still didn't get notified.
He wanted calling them twice.
And I get it.
I
Their
said,
protocols are all about, like, maybe they'll commit suicide or something.
So, all right, we're going to unpack this because this has been something where on the footage, everybody's heard about Gun Rack Guy. We know that they've said there's multiple weapons or 2 weapons used. They've never found the knife. You hear thuds and crashes and bangs and screaming. And we know that timeline and the sheer amount of, even if it is party noises, I don't think it is. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But there's a lot going on. There's a lot of traffic of cars happening, whether it's looped or not. But you guys get my point. This is weird because now when I show you this next part, it just adds more validity to the fact that there could have been another shooting. Schoolshooters.info, again, despite increased attention to school shootings and school safety, rampage attacks continue to devastate communities in the United States all over the world. This site is a compendium of documents relating to a wide range of active shooter incidents in educational settings. You have Brian Koberger, University of Idaho. So it's weird on multiple fronts because, yeah, it wasn't at a school. Brian Koberger clearly didn't shoot anybody. They were stabbed, but it's got everything listed out. And it's weird that this entire site is written by a psychologist. All the other ones on here, they're real shooters. So it's just weird. It's just, I don't understand why this is a thing if it's not a thing. I don't think Brian Koberger did anything and shot anybody for sure. I don't think he shot somebody. I don't think that he went inside that damn house. I do believe that there was a gun involved in the Idaho 4 crime, though. So I don't think this is AI slop either, because you can't find these things on Google, but you can find them on other search engines. That's what I'm saying. And again, given this, and then given the interview, so it's like we're hearing it from their family too. That's a detailed story about their niece called them and said somebody came to a party, shot it up, Kaylee was shot. And then they said they had hours of panic and they were watching the news and it was saying unconscious person. So they were like, okay, maybe. And then they got another call. They're like, somebody called. And they're like, who? And they're like, I don't know. It's just somebody there. What? I'm not even trying to like hate on parents that are going through crazy trauma of a news like break like that in their household and in their family. I don't understand how you would just be sitting there waiting for hours for the sheriff to call you. And it's not victim shaming. Damn it. We deserve the truth. It's not a normal human reaction. One of my favorite quotes was, I believe that it was it Kristen from the Custody Queens had talked about if she was covering this case and she heard that Dylan didn't call 911 for 8 hours and there was 4 people brutally stabbed. She said there's this gauge of what is normal. And a normal person or a reasonable person most likely would have called 911 earlier than 8 hours. They would have heard something. They would have been more concerned and had a more detailed story of what was going down. And then she said, so you're asking me to believe that you're not normal, that this is not normal. And then she goes, now you add 2 people that were apparently home and neither of them did that. And she said, that's how you have to think as an attorney, is you have 2 people that under normal circumstances, one of those 2 most likely would have behaved differently. So now you have 2 people that you're going to essentially say it's not normal for what they're doing. That's how I would sum up this interview on the couch. This is not normal. It's not normal. I'm not saying that it's not real or they're not under stress or whatever it is, but it's definitely not normal. It's just so off from a human instinct. My human instinct spidey senses are going off and I don't know how else to explain it. It doesn't sound like that. It just leaves me speechless. Yeah, Jackie said they were in defense mode. That's a good way to sum it up. It does seem like it. And so we're also going to watch, I'm going to pull this up so I don't forget. We're going to watch Gunderson's body cam when he's canvassing the apartments next to their house. We're going to watch that in a little bit. And first, let me get through these. So we went over that. We went over this. Now, this is something that I did start to question. This article was written, I think this is by, who's that say, Fox News. Okay. This was published January 13th of 2023. So obviously Brian Koberger has been arrested at this point. Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger's grad program had access to the quote crime lab with camera streams. Insider, WSU campus insider, of course, not named. It's the ghost in the machine, the anonymous witness, anonymous source. However, the campus insider compared Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger to a quote wolf in the henhouse. And this was an exclusive out of Pullman, Washington. Brian Koberger's doctoral program at Washington State University maintains access to a crime lab database of police body cam videos, as well as live streams from security cameras on and off campus, an insider told Fox News Digital. The programs are referenced on the school's public website and are used to study policing and the, quote, complex social interactions between police officers and the people they encounter. And if you remember from a few streams ago, I showed that newsletter back in like 2015 when this program became a thing at WSU. The source who works for the university and has direct knowledge of the department is warning that the research tools in the wrong hands could have allowed a suspected killer to view unredacted crime scene images, potential videos of death, and even live streams of surveillance cameras with remote controls that allow the viewer to zoom in on faces. The university told Fox News Digital Friday evening that Koberger was not part of the program. Okay. Do you see how they do that shit to you? You had to read the last sentence, 3 paragraphs down, for them to say, the university told Fox News Digital Friday evening Koberger was not part of the program. But they certainly didn't make you feel like that was the case, because they're saying Koberger's doctoral program at WSU maintains access to it. Now, I don't think that the point of this, and the reason why I have this on here, is not to talk about how the news articles are going to put you in a blender and have you have to read the entire thing for the last sentence to finally get past the headline, right? Everybody knows the headlines are what solidifies a narrative. Now, the interesting part is whether or not it was Brian Koberger. Look at what they're admitting they have at WSU. People can view unredacted crime scene images, potential videos of death, and live streams of surveillance cameras with remote controls that allow the viewer to zoom in on faces. So if they have all of that, you would think we would have way more video of Brian Koberger in the month leading up to his arrest, the 7 weeks, whatever it was. Would you not? You guys picking up what I'm putting down with that? You would think that there would be a significant, a way more amount of camera footage of Brian Koberger just going about his everyday life on campus. No, instead, they show you complaints from students, no video of him inside the building, and they'll show him being pulled over and interacting with police. Why? Yeah, big. You know what? That's actually, and that's a top dog comment, Brandon. That's funny because Bigfoot videos, they're hard to do worse than, and you're right. There's the Bigfoot videos that are recorded with like a 2000 Nokia cell phone, and all the Idaho 4 footage is recorded with a potato. It's ridiculous. But they absolutely do this to drive a narrative that they want. Yep, that's exactly right. So nuts. I always do wonder, why is it that they're telling us things like this then? Sometimes I feel like there are things that are put into the media, but they're framed in a certain light so that when you do see them, you don't think about anything other than what you read. right? So if you were to talk about this and only read the headline, you would be like, oh my God, can you believe that Brian Koberger would have had access to all this? If you don't read far enough, you wouldn't have known. Well, the university claims that Koberger was not part of the program. I find that hard to believe. PhD student getting criminology, a criminology master's degree. He knows Chief Jenkins. I don't buy it. I don't buy it one bit. And I actually have a couple other things that I can show you guys too. These are just random theories. Again, these are from right after the unalivings. And wait, why did that go to that page? What's going on here? Sorry about that, Hive. Do you guys like when I just show you the random screenshots that I'm able to find or that people send for the Hive Mind finds just to have the conversation about it? I personally, I enjoy it. It helps get my brain going, the creative juices flowing. All right, let me share this screen again. Oh, I know why it's doing that. All right, I'll have to do this. So has anybody ever heard the theory about this came out 2 days after the murders? Okay. I believe this was 2 days after the murders. This was in an archive. And this says plausible theory. It was Jack's friend. Again, this person's speculating. We are speculating. And it says the number one thing that stuck out was the multiple calls by both girls at 2:45 a.m. Not one, but two. And when you go out at 21, you go out with pairs or more. Kaylee and Maddie go out for the night. At some point, they meet, quote, Jack D and a friend or acquaintance or someone he just met out that night, most likely at the bar. They split up when the girls want to go eat. Jack goes to get his car. At the food truck, one of the girls looks at her phone, gets a text. They're out front to pick them up, right? We know now it was the private driver. However, this theory, there's maybe something here for a thought exercise. Excuse me. That's the quote private party that they got a ride home from. Girls don't get in a stranger's car at 1:45 a.m. It's someone they knew. They go back to the house and Jack and his quote friend go in for a drink. That's the commotion the surviving roommates hear in the house. Jack decides to leave, but the friend wants to stay. The friend starts weirding out the girls, and with no Uber available, they both call Jack multiple times to come and pick him up. One girl calls, and it can mean anything. But when both of them call, there's something amiss. He doesn't answer. Against their better judgment, they let the drunk friend, who they don't know, sleep on their couch since he can't get a ride home. They go to bed. The next morning, Jack comes to grab his friend, and we all know the rest of the story. The police are searching for, quote, the friend. Now, again, you could just tell there's some things that are posted clearly early on, right? But that's there could be something there. Was there some truth to that? Did they have an after bar or an A bar party? And is that the dancing and the music playing that Dylan allegedly heard? Right? I don't think that part's a bad thought. I don't think it's a bad thought at all that the girls get home from the grub truck and some people came over with them. It's not saying that Jack D and that was the friend, but I could see a logical thought process of saying, well, if there's music playing and they thought that Kaylee was dancing with the dog, I can see why you might think that after they're out, they would have people over. Lisa forward, Lisa backward says, in July of 2022, the University of Kentucky removed Sigma Chi fraternity for 4 years after caught hazing and lying to national organization and university. Sigma Chi has a long history of violence. Well, we've been told that they're inside that car. I've shown that video footage at earlier in the night, like much earlier in the night, that the girls maybe were walking home and you see them on the dumpster cam, if you guys remember that. So I talked about how much timestamps can manipulate a timeline. And isn't it interesting too how the grub truck footage that comes out after the fact where you see them walking across the street, it's like the front of the grub truck, is at what, 9:51 or something, and then you would see the girls getting home at like 11:15 and everyone's saying, well, what did Maddie tell Adam? I can see why people think they're on the way to the grub truck. They absolutely could be. But how much did the what did Maddie tell Adam video influence motive, influence potential timeline? And why were they so gung-ho on finding this Twitch stream 156, or it was 145, then it was 159, 156. They were making sure that that was really solidified in. Now, let me see a couple of other things that I found. Another theory that I saw that was somewhat interesting. Hang on one second. Sorry, my dog chewed up a cat toy that had catnip in it, and my older cat is just out of his mind, zooted right now, just meowing and banging on the door. So, my bad. But one of the things that I thought about too was, you know how we've discussed so this is why I like reading things like this, right? Whether or not you want to believe it or that there's credibility to it, it does help think through, especially if you believe that we're being lied to. And the reality of it is that if you're covering something up, you can't cover it up if you don't manipulate something to cover up the truth. That's the whole point of a cover up. How are you going to cover it up? Well, you have to decide. Are you going to cover it up with the time, with the weapons, with the who did it, with the who was there, who knew who, what was the motive? It almost seems like they're doing all of that in this case. Would you guys agree? And when I read this paragraph really helped me to start to think through, that does add up about the girls calling Jack for what reason. And we have no idea where Xana and Ethan were the entire night. So we're just told that everybody's home by 2. What if Xana and Ethan got home later? And what if shit was going down when they got home? And what if Xana and Ethan were in some fight or scuffle, or they were getting attacked and they called Jack because maybe they thought that Jack knew or maybe who was doing it? The official timeline, right? Between 3 and 4 a.m., girls get home at 1:56. I don't know. I'm trying to think through other reasons why they would be calling maybe earlier. Sherlock says, agree, the timeline is most critical. I absolutely control the timeline, control the whole shebang. It even makes it easier to fabricate all the other stuff. Absolutely. Because once you manipulate the timeline, you could just make anything else in that time frame, in that window of time, fit. You could just tell us that it's something that it's not. All right, let me scroll through. Oh, I forgot about this one. This should have been added in. Another shooting article, by the way. So I don't understand how there's so many. And I'm kind of just going through my screenshots on my other tab here. And have we ever, I can't remember, have we ever seen the license plate of the Explorer? Or no? Because don't they have it blurred out officially? Because I don't know if people have seen it, but I think I've got one of the license plate. If somebody can make it out, I got like a partial one here. I don't know if anybody will be able to make that out, but yeah, I'm not sure. This might be that same article. Well, that's not a bad thought, Danny D. They tried to hide the case altogether, putting it under a shooting. Maybe. And Hive, does anybody in here know who was the creator that had Sergeant Gunderson's body cam when he was canvassing the apartments on the right side of the house, the Queen Road apartments? I can't find it at all. Oh, I got it. I got it right here. So I want to watch this too real quick. It's LTL had it. All right. So there's no sound right now. It'll come on if you have headphones. But this is where he's going around and he is doing the canvas of the area. This is November 13th, 2022. This is Officer Gunderson. And I'm going to get to the point where I believe that it's this dude.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, good.
Good. Shane with the police department. How are you doing?
Okay, how are you?
Okay, what's your name? Nice to meet you, John. So you go to the U of I?
I don't.
Okay. Well, we were conducting an investigation in the area.
I heard.
Okay. Did you hear anything out of the ordinary last night?
I did not hear anything last night.
Okay. Were you here all night last night?
I was. Oh,
okay.
Fiddlesticks. Hey. Sorry, I should have shut the door.
No worries.
Do you mind if I talk to you outside?
Yeah, no, that's
or
fine.
I can throw her in an office or something.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything last night. I was home all night. Nothing out of the ordinary for me.
Okay, what time did you go to bed?
I think I went to bed at maybe 11.
Okay, what time did you wake up?
Woke up at 9 today.
Awesome. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Take care.
Okay, that wasn't it. I'm trying to find the dude that answers, and he's like, I didn't hear gunshots.
Hello.
Hi there. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Hey, good. Sorry to bug you.
What's up?
Do you go to the U of I?
No.
Okay. Well, we're conducting an investigation in the area.
Okay.
I was just.
Is this, dude? Is this acting? I'm serious. Is this acting? These are the most odd interactions I've ever seen in my life. And I'm done pretending like it's not effing weird. The first interaction's weird, even if you take fiddlesticks out of it. This is so off. Okay. Like, act better. Do a couple takes. Take more than 20 seconds to just take people's word for it. Christ. This is so weird. It's hard to watch.
Curious if you heard anything overnight or anything like that? No. Were you here all night?
Well, and I understand that guy, I'm not just talking about that one dude. I'm talking about everybody in Gunderson. This entire thing. You notice as soon as he knocks, he'll knock right away. The door opens. Nobody's like doing something else. They are all at their door. By the way, not just one person at the door. Anybody who's in that house is at the door within 5 seconds.
Last night?
No, I worked late. Got here late.
What the hell cat is that now?
Went to bed.
Okay, what time did you get off work?
Like last night, I got off work around 12. Stayed there till maybe like 1.
Okay.
Got home around 1:32.
Okay, you went to bed after that, or? Okay, what time did you wake up?
A couple hours ago.
What's that?
A couple hours ago.
Okay. All right, appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
And the cat's just roaming.
Apologize, I got a phone call. Make sure it's not one I need to answer.
I just want to find that one. Sorry, guys.
Okay, so we're conducting an investigation next door. Just curious if you heard anything last night, saw anything peculiar last night, anything like that.
I was working pretty late.
What time did you work?
I got home at like midnight,
Okay.
15ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty dark. You know, usually there's music and stuff, but
Sure.
It's pretty dark at midnight. No shit, my guy.
it's pretty dark, pretty quiet. I didn't see anything crazy.
Okay. And then what time did you go to bed?
Like 3:30ish.
Okay. Did you hear anything odd before going to bed or anything like that?
Not that I'm remembering.
Okay. What time did you wake up?
11:15, 11:30.
Okay. And perfect. I appreciate it, man.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
This interaction too, just for the shit, not even shits and gigs, because this is very serious, I know, but this is, I'm 99% sure that this chick has her side piece over.
Hi there. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You guys are students?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you got the vandal alert. So we're just conducting a neighborhood canvass, just making sure if anybody heard anything, saw anything last night at all.
I did not. I got back from the corner club at 11:30 with my boyfriend, and we didn't hear anything.
Okay. What time did you guys go to bed? Right after that, or
12:30?
I'm not the boyfriend. I was in Spokane.
Okay. And then what time did you wake up?
My boyfriend went hunting at 5 in the morning, so he left around then.
Okay.
And so he's on his way back now.
What's your boyfriend's name?
Holy shit, Luna. Is that the chick from the grub truck wearing that hoodie? That's a great catch. It kind of looks like it. It kind of does look like it. One second. Let me see if I can find it. Just scrolling through my pictures quick because I got it saved. Imagine being like the boyfriend that was hunting. You'd be like, who the hell is this dude? I leave at 5. This guy stayed in Spokane last night, but now he's over while I'm out hunting. Not saying that out of insecurity. I was just thinking it would be kind of funny. but not funny at the same time. Yeah, Luna is on fire. Luna's on a generational run right now. I don't know if it's the same. But that was still good, Luna. That was great eyes. That's so true. Think twice. All of the cats are like gonna go look.
If I give you my card, can you call when he gets?
Yeah, he's almost.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just be hanging around. So.
I just talked to him on the phone and he didn't hear anything. But
Okay. Well, I'll give you my card anyway. Then, if that's the case, if he, just have him give me a call anyway. Right, so I talked to him. Best number to get directly to me is this cell phone number down here. Shane Gunderson. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Hey there.
Hey.
So we're conducting an investigation next door.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything last night?
No.
Okay.
Can you tell us what happened?
We're still trying to kind of piece everything together, so I don't have a lot of information, and I couldn't tell you if I did have enough. So, you guys didn't hear anything last night at all. Do you guys have a neighbor here?
We don't know
them.
Okay.
Or actually, I think someone does live there, but we don't know them.
Okay.
We've never spoken to them.
What time did you guys get home last night?
We were home the entire day.
Okay.
Oh, last night?
So that's true. At about 9 o'clock, we went out for snacks and we came back at about 10 o'clock.
Okay. You guys go to bed after that?
Yes.
Basically.
What time did you wake up?
8:30.
Okay.
8:30.
What the heck? I could have swore there was a dude that talks about gunshots. Did I start it too late? I don't want to just spend too much time on this, but I feel like it's.
Notice anything last night?
I have not.
Okay.
No, sir. Yes, sir.
Hi there. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Are you kind of aware of what's going on in the neighborhood?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So we're just going door to door, seeing if anybody heard anything or saw anything last night.
I have not.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Anything peculiar last night at all overnight?
Not that I was aware of. I got home. I work at U of I for athletics. I got home from the game at like 10 p.m. last night, and I just literally watched some TV and went to bed at like midnight.
Okay. What time did you get up?
What time did I get up? Like 7 o'clock this morning.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Anybody else live here with you?
No.
Okay.
No, sir.
Thank
Just
you.
Just me and her.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Take care.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. No worries.
Sorry about what? Okay, come on, Gunderson. I don't remember this being so slow. Come on.
Hello. Hi there. How you doing?
Good.
What's your name? Nice to meet
up?
you. I'm Sergeant Gunderson from the police department. Well, we're just conducting an investigation in the area, and was curious if you heard anything overnight that was peculiar or out of the ordinary or anything like that.
I know I was up till about 2 a.m.
I'm sorry?
I know I was up till about 2 a.m., but I don't recall hearing anything.
This sounds
I guess I did have
okay.
my headphones and I was listening to music pretty late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Take
you're
care.
welcome. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night.
You too.
All right, Gundy. This has got to be the guy. This has got to be it.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, so we're conducting an investigation in the area. You guys are probably already aware.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything out of the ordinary last night?
Did not. Nothing. No gunshots or anything like that.
Right there.
Last night.
Did not. Nothing. No gunshots or anything like that.
Last night.
Did not. Nothing. No gunshots or anything like that. Freaking me. I don't know. Somebody said to somebody who I heard from that that it was gunshots, but so I'm kind of weirded out because I didn't.
Dude, see what I'm saying, guys? Yeah, that's the local chatter. That, to me, that is so strange that you have these kids who everybody else seems ultra rehearsed, and then you see this, you'll see this, you'll see all these, you'll see the video of them saying that. I find it so odd. I found it so weird. Gunderson's over here shitting his drawers because he's like, damn it, these dumbasses forgot their lines. Everybody else just sounded awkward at least. Let people think that it's fake. Just whatever you do, don't say anything about gunshots. And these guys, not only did one of them say it, his buddy started to double down now. And Gunderson's like, son of a bitch. I'd rather have people think this is just the most awkward fake thing ever. But now look at what YouTube said.
Hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Hey, so we're conducting an investigation in the area. You guys are probably already aware.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear anything out of the ordinary last night?
Did not. Nothing. No gunshots or anything like that. Freaking me. I don't know. Somebody said to somebody who I heard from that that it was gunshots, but so I'm kind of weirded out because I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Where did you hear that from?
Oh, my sister. Yeah, I don't know. She's been talking to people and she's, I think, got the vandal alert, and so she texted me and just to make sure.
Okay. But didn't hear anything out of the ordinary. Okay. Thanks, guys.
So my sister's been talking to people. My sister texted me saying it was gunshots. I didn't hear gunshots. But my sister who knows people, yeah, she knows. Who told you that? My sister, she's talking to people. Yeah. I don't know. One last time.
Figured it out because I didn't hear anything.
Okay. Where did you hear that from?
Oh, my sister. Yeah, I don't know. She's been talking to people and she's, I think, got the vandal alert, and so she texted me and just to make sure.
Okay. But didn't hear anything out of the ordinary. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Are we blocked off in here right now?
You guys are welcome to leave and come back. Just there's
I was
going to
coming
be.
back with my car because I left earlier and I saw that there was like a cop car blocking the
Yeah, we're just trying to limit the amount of.
down there.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to leave and come back. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Did anybody else think that it was a little bit weird that, as far as I'm concerned, he didn't ask for anybody's first and last name except for that one girl? Or actually, did he? Or did he just give her his card and out of good faith said, hey, your boyfriend that's hunting, have him call me? Is he writing down how many people lived in each apartment? What are their names? It's not even that he has to write it down, but it's not even on the body cam. So nobody really feels like they're in danger. The only people that asked what happened was that couple that seemed a little bit older downstairs. The chick who had the belt on. That's like, can you tell us what happened? He's like, no, I can't. Right? Well, why not? Because you're telling people they're not at risk. So I don't know. The whole thing is very, very weird. And I'm just looking through my notes that I had because I had a bunch of stuff. So I saw another thing. This guy wrote a blog. It was too long to screenshot. And when I copy and pasted the URL, it wouldn't load into Canva. But this guy started talking about what's known as the fruit of the poison tree doctrine. Is anybody familiar with that? And I'll look it up. Because it was about the DNA testing. It's a constitutional rule that says if the government gets evidence by violating the Constitution, then everything that grows out of that violation is tainted. Oh, I knew that, but I didn't know it was called fruit of the poisonous tree. Think of it as epistemology, or however the hell you say that word. The method of knowing was illegitimate. The knowledge itself is suspect. How this will collide with DNA testing. DNA feels godlike, objective, scientific, immune to human bias. Courts love it for that reason. But if DNA is obtained directly or indirectly because of an illegal search, seizure, arrest, or interrogation, it can be suppressed. Because what this person was alluding to was that somebody, I'm not sure what this means, comment at GLP, but I agree with it 100% is what this person wrote. And then they quoted, fruit of the poison tree doctrine will come into play. Any evidence that leads back to the sheath will be excluded. Without it, they have nothing. Brian will walk free. Police department and individual cops will be sued, but cops will use qualified immunity, not have to pay anything. City of Moscow taxpayers will be left to foot the bill, and the real killers will never be caught. The other thing too that I saw in the comments, that have we ever talked about so the DNA is huge. That's the only thing tying Brian to the crime scene. We know that. The other part is obviously the white Elantra. Have we ever, on a very simple level, thought to ourselves that if Brian did this, and you could say, oh, he was trying to hide in plain sight. He wanted to flex his intelligence, yet the guy made every mistake possible. How about just sheer normal human behavior, especially in a criminology department, especially a high-performing student? You would think that you would know the entire world in that area is going to be looking for a white Elantra. He would have had to have known that. The university is going to be looking for it. And so what does he do? I'm going to take this and you know what? I'm going to drive it all the way across the country. I'm going to drive a white Elantra all over the country, even though the entire nation and the world is aware that now they are looking for this specific make and model. I wonder if an Elantra is a red herring. I wonder if the white car in general is a red herring to an extent, right? Like I'm saying that past even if it wasn't Brian in there. One of the things that I saw J.M. Bree put out, I talked about this once, but I really have dove into it. I'm not sure what to make of it. But they got the ECU, or like the black box of the cars, for Matty Mogan's Chevy Cruze, Ethan Chapin's Jeep, and the Explorer. Why just those three cars? Why not the Range Rover? Why not Xana's? I believe it's a Civic. Why not get it for Dylan and Bethany's? Or if Bethany didn't have a car, Dylan's. So I started wondering, were they looking to see the last time that these cars were started, or if the car's in the driveway? When was the last time that they got there, that they left? And I don't know if would a Chevy Cruze look like a certain model Elantra. I don't know, because with the fog lights, it's something that I want to look into more. It just seems weird that they took Maddie's ECU. And that's kind of what I was getting at, Lauren, is maybe they were driven after the death. And let me address some of these super chats. We got Drew Bledsoe Mort in the house. Thank you so much for the super chat, brother. Merry Christmas, Birdie and peasants. Will you have me on in 2026? It's all I asked Santa for Christmas. The dispatcher's last name changed between murder and plea. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm down to have you on. Felicia J. Welch, thank you so much for the super chat. Brian does show up on the Idaho prison search. Just to throw this out there, I can link Brent Kopaka to living in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, as he was living in a house my husband's dad owned, along with his mother. Holy shit. Dude, that's crazy. What year was that, Felicia? Next time that I do call-ins, which is going to start to be every Wednesday, by the way, Hive, in 2026, Hive Mind call-in night will be Wednesdays. Shells Shocked said, I'm a sucker for the Hive Mind grift. Well, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Shells Shocked. Trolling or not, I appreciate that, if that's sense of humor then. Because that would have been right when I said something about the Nancy disgrace grift. Nash Ash C, thank you. I think I already addressed this one, but I will say it again. Thank you so much for the super chat. Hive, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's stream. That was a lot of interesting stuff. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes before I sign off. We're at 775. So on your way out, please tap the like button. Please hit subscribe. That's all that I ask. Tomorrow I will be on before noon, and a couple of things for you all to look forward to on our Discord page, which if you're not in our Discord, please join that. That link is in my YouTube channel's bio, and all you got to do is click more links, and it's the top link. So go to my channel, hit subscribe, press 4 links, or the link should be right there. Make sure you have that app downloaded on your phone prior to clicking it. And we have a top 25 Hive Mind finds coming up for 2025, which I'm excited to see what those are. There's been countless Hive Mind finds. So I'll try to put together an awesome show for you all on that. That'll be on Tuesday, the 30th. So I'll do that on New Year's Eve. And yeah, I will be on tomorrow again before noon, sometime between 10 a.m. Central and noon Central. So I appreciate you all. Have a great, safe night. Sleep good, and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers, everyone.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. It's a new life.